Very good evening to everybody watching. Thank you for joining us tonight on the Evening Review. My name is Toivo Njabela. Tonight on the platform we are joined by Matheus Stefanus. He is Secretary General of the Namibia Informal Traders and Shebeen Workers Union, and there is a provision in law, the labor law of our country, that he wants to discuss with us. We will, of course, talk to him about it and hear what their views are. Thank you, Mr. Stefanus, for coming to the platform. It's a pleasure. First, tell us about your union, because I don't think I'm very familiar with it.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much, Master Toivo. Namibia Informal Traders and Shebeen Workers Union is a registered trade union that on industry, to say the car wash, for street vendors, public market, salon and barber shop, and printing shop. In terms of our exclusive bargaining by section 65, that's where, and then in terms of scope of operation, in terms of section 53 of the Labor Act of 2007. Yes.
Okay. So how do you represent informal traders? Because I know that, I mean, particularly as a bargaining union, because it's not a formalized, structured industry. If I find some guys washing cars in Greenwell, Matongo there, how do I bargain for them? Who do I sign that with them?
Exactly. It's informal is something quite challenging. Not just in terms of recruiting membership, but when it's come also to documentations, you find the majority of the people that are employed most in the informal settlement, some they don't have documentations. And then those without documentation, for them they always have a fear to join, because they might think that maybe you control them so that they can either be arrested. So because you find most of the people in the car wash undocumented, the people, we don't know if they are Namibian or not, because for them they only say, no, I don't have a document, so that's why they don't. But those that have documents, we can represent them, but in the representation, because you don't only on the bargaining when it's come to the salary increment and other benefit, but when it's come to other disputes, such as when the unfair dismissal happen at the workplace, you can able to attend and resolve the matter, either through conciliation with the employer, or when we see that we don't resolve the matter is when we refer the matter to the Labor Commissioner office. Because we're at that stage also as a trade union, we can negotiate with the employer to find a settlement agreement on the dispute. Or it's only when we cannot in agreement, then is when we have to file the dispute with the Office of Labor Commission.
I hear you. So, but if you don't have a bargaining agreement with the employer, the guy who owns the car wash, his employers have signed up with you as members, maybe, but maybe the employer himself does not recognize that there's no formal bargaining agreement between the two of you. I don't know if it can happen that way, but if it happens, how do you get them to sit down when they could say, look, we owe you no answers, we do not have any bargaining agreement with you?
Yeah, no, we know the issue people had to define what is the bargaining when it's come to the bargainings. So, and the individual, among the 100 employed as per Constitution in terms of Article 21, they are given that everyone have a right, or when you look also at the Article 17 of the Namibia Constitution, everyone have a right to join any trade union of his choice. So in that context, the Constitution is the supreme. So bargaining, it's only come when you're on the table to discuss what we call dispute of interest. Dispute of interest, where we talk about the salary increment and other benefits. Those are under dispute of interest because they are not dispute of right. But the dispute of right is if you are denying the person to register or to be part of the trade union, then you are violating the right of the employee.
The main reason why you are on the platform tonight, Matheus, is because there's a provision in the Labor Act about severance pay. that your union seem to think that it's omitted, people do not understand it, people are not complying with it. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, no, it's well. Because I've been in the industry for quite 5 years now. And then we've been understudy the Labor Act of 2007. And then where I wrote a letter to our Attorney General, Master Mbadeka, regarding some of interpretation. And then I see his counter reply. That's why I say, okay, if they are not replying directly to the what is supposed to be as the office supposed to interpret in the law, then we still have a room to go. So Section 35, it gives provision to who should be entitled to the severance package. So given to people if it died while it was employed, but it's, remember, it from 1 year until to the time where you are either resign or retire, because it's only counting from 1 year up. Yeah, it's not like if you work for a month, you are entitled. No, you are not entitled. Then the most challenging part that we find, the reason why I say no, we cannot let it be like this, and then we cannot make interpretation in the street. We have judicially that custodian when it's come to interpretation of our law, it's come to section 35, subsection C. That provision, it said who entitled to severance package when a person resign or retire reaching age of 65. Then we come there to put up that context, okay? Because if they use the word all, it means you are given an option. If you don't want tea, you are given an option to drink coffee. So those employees that are resigned, they are entitled to their severance, regardless which sector, government or private sectors, because we are under one law, which is the Labor Act, that regulating, even it say that any employment contract, it must be favorable, it must not violate any employment contract of company or government also. It must be remain in the flame of the Labor Act. Even the government itself, it have a staff rule policy. But when you look on those staff rules for the government, you can see there is a much violation. But I don't know now the Public Service Commission, how did they been doing this with this? They supposed to balancing, and then the unions that are exclusively bargaining by the government, NAPU and NANDU, how they think about this. And then that's what you said, okay, in line with when the provision is again we have a problem of those mentioned age, 65. And then when you look at the Public Service Act, when it's come to the government level, because everything, it's yet to be clean from the government, because once it's not clean, it will affect all other sectors, because all the law that we have, it passed by the government, not through private institutions. So when you look at Public Service Act of 1995, subsection 24, the appointment, all the government employees, they're on an appointment of 60 years. That's why we want to take this matter for review at court. Why the person at the age of 60 retired at the age of 60 not entitled as per the contract of appointment.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tell me something, Matheus. Because your interpretation of that provision is that when somebody resigns, when they retire,
yes.
I saw they're talking about dismissal also.
Yes, also dismissal, but dismissal is only applied to say unfairly dismissal.
Unfair dismissal.
Yeah, not when you are caught stealing,
and
then they follow procedure. Because remember that we have a substantive procedural that had to be followed before you dismiss an employee. Doesn't matter whether a person is stealing, you have no right to just to dismiss the person on the ground.
Yes, I get it. So if somebody resigns, let's start with resignation as a scenario. If somebody resigns today from their job,
yes,
you are saying your understanding of this labor provision is that that person, apart from any other payment that they may have, that they may be entitled to, there has to be a severance pay there from their employer.
Yes.
Maybe let's define what severance is. What is that?
Okay, severance is we call it number, is a money in value of number of years that you've been providing service to the company or to the government. Your number of years been in the service.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have been working for this institution. I've been getting paid as per the agreement with my employer. I've already been paid for those services. Why must there be another payment for me there?
No, you are paid because you are doing something, because you know that when you are performing, that's different. That's why even when you come to annual leave, you are still get paid, but you still entitled to your annual leave days that is due when you are reaching retirement. But they never, no one will come and say, but we've been paying you, why should we have to pay again the annual leave? No, you've been offering service. If you are not offering the service, then they could not pay you.
I hear you. I find that provision, I must admit, I didn't know about it, because if I knew, I would have been a very rich man by now, because I've changed jobs a lot in my life. And none of my former employers paid me that. But let's go for a break. Okay. We'll go for a quick break, and then I will return with Mr. Matheus Stefanus.
Neopaints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neopaints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neopaints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
The show continues here on the evening review. Now, so like I was saying, you know, I wasn't aware of that, and I'm sure a lot of my viewers today, it's an eye-opener for them. So when you wrote to Attorney General Bandeka, what kind of relief were you looking from him? What was the nature of your letter to him, and what did he say in return?
Yeah, so the relief just was on the under. First, it was about the Labor Act in terms of Section 53 when it's come to the scope of operation. Because the Labor Act, one thing that we have a problem is a constitution and the Labor Act. They say that the Labor Act have a more powerful than the constitution, which we say the supreme. Because I referring to when I'm asking that it was in the context unions find with scope of operation. Like union are limited, but the constitution is said everyone have a right to join. I ask him, okay, so I cannot represent someone in the government. Just in terms of representation, by his democratic right to choose the union that he want to represent him, either when there's a dispute or when there's a disciplinary hearing.
So apart from NAPU and NANTU, you were asking whether,
yes,
I mean, that by law, by constitution,
yes,
you are actually allowed to represent those people also outside the two unions that I mentioned.
Yes.
Okay. So that is one aspect. Did you also touch on the aspect of the, because I want us to really focus on this one.
And then on the aspect of the severance.
Yes.
It was the same apply, say who is entitled, because you as an attorney of the government,
yeah,
you could give us clear interpretation in this. And then he just washed his hand. He said, no, for me, I don't interpret law. It's only, only stand for the government. I cannot interpret this law. So it's better to consult the Ministry of Labor. Mm-hmm. Okay. I do so. As the Minister of Labor, they are not given any answer to say, okay, this is our position. That's how we understand it. Then I said, what the point for us to have a, you can't have interpretation in the street. I'll take up this matter to court, so that once the judgment come, it's a freedom to all. Yes.
So what made you start pursuing this matter? Is it because employers are not, you know, providing severance pay to their ex-employees? Did someone raise this issue with you? Where did the whole thing come from?
Yeah, you know that I'm an industry for, and then as a SG, I'm not sending people to the Office of Labor Commission to represent the work. I go there myself, so I had to be familiar with all the conduct of the arbitrators. I'm familiar with the judgment when they make a ruling. We can see this ruling, and then we find there's that judgment that I said was delivered by Judge Parker. It gave a clear say no. The arbitrator, there was one that was overturned. The arbitrator was wrong. Section 35 is very clear. When a person resigns, should be entitled to the money that for the service that he been providing. And then it's still standing. That's why I say now it's an awareness, so that even the government, private sector can prepare and can start calling even from today. When I leave this show, they can start calling their ex-employee, please, we are preparing to pay your money, can you give us your account so we can put your money?
Yeah, I hear you. But are you sure, Mr. Stefanus, that this law, because I'm a legal layperson, but I know that there are laws, certain laws, that cannot be interpreted on their own. It has to be read with another one.
Yes.
That's why I wonder if this is as straightforward as you are suggesting it is, or maybe we are only interpreting it in isolation, because maybe there's another law that prevents this automatic thing that you are suggesting.
Yeah, that's why I said there is that judgment. It was clear. The one that for the one I say for Parker, it was a village council where he's saying that an applicant, any time that he had to claim his money with that right to pursue and ask as the provision of the act, then he should be entitled.
And you are saying that this is based on the number of years the person has rendered their service to the organization?
Yes.
So does it matter at what level I was working? I mean, how do you determine the exact amount? Because some people are cleaners, some are CEOs. Are we going to get the same amount of money when we leave, or do you say, or is it based on how much I was earning?
No. Severance is the method that you use is a 1 week salary using your basic salary. You divide your basic salary with a 4.333, and then you get your weekly. That weekly, if it's at 2,000, then you multiply with your number of years that you've been in the service.
Just to refresh my memory again, you said, what did you say about the person who is dismissed? What do they get or not?
Oh no, they are entitled. It's only on the condition.
Or if you said if they were unfairly dismissed.
Yeah, because unfairly dismissed, it does not define by the content of someone who is stealing, but it should also be defined. Because when a person is stealing, then a person had to be suspended, issue with any statement under allegation that against that person, and the person had to appear before disciplinary hearing, and from there the outcome had to determine. But if you just, of course, you find a person stealing, and then you just say you wrote a dismissal letter to that person at the ground, then substantive procedure will not follow. This person will be entitled, because substantive procedure will not follow, because the person have a right to for hearing, because he had to be proven guilty. Yes.
So you see what bothers me a lot about this provision. I think it's a good provision on paper, but I find it very destructive in terms of because it's just costly. I find it very costly to the employers. As an employer, you pay your employees. You are obliged to pay your employees on time and what you've agreed with them. Mm-hmm. Sometimes even the underperforming employees you can't reduce their salary that month and say, look, this month you were just on the internet in your office and therefore we are going to penalize you. The law doesn't even allow you to lower the thing. So an employer does that all the time. And then someone resigns. I mean, you've been paying for the service that they were rendering you. Now they are leaving, and you must pay them again for the service that you have already paid for. I don't understand that principle.
You know, like every business, they make money, and then it's a way for the employer to be saving how to keep the business standing. Because if the provision is only concerned about your number of service, which is a weekly, though, so that money to be on calculation of your weekly. Comparing to company, let's say a private company, make 100 million as a profit. So this employee, I think the best way, they are benefiting also from this profit when they are leaving the job. Because every entity, when they make profit, they had to make sure that profit that you made, or even the government should learn in a professional way to make sure that they have something to maintain this taxi and other collection of revenue. There are some reserves so that, because imagine this severance, why the people are not against when someone dies. They pay the severance to the deceased, to the family, when a person will die while he was employed. And then...
is that really what happens? Because if you die, as far as I know, if you die, people go back to your leave balance and say maybe they pay out your leave days. I don't know what else. I mean, the employer, that is now the employer himself, not now the pension and everything else. The employer, as far as I know, of course, employers are different. No. But the principle that I know is that you get your leave balance paid out.
No. There are two. On this, when a person dies while he's in service, annual leave dues and the severance. These are the money that he paid, and other money that was still outstanding. If there was a basic salary or number of days that he worked but was not paid, then it to be recorded, and then together severance, annual, and the outstanding amount of the salary for that particular month.
Okay. Is that now according to that book that you're showing me there, or is that what happens? Because again, remember...
No, it's according to the Labor Act, Section 35.
Yeah, okay. Yes. Okay. So this is what I'm going to do, my brother. Thank you for coming. Our time is up now.
Okay.
But I think you brought to the fore a very interesting topic. We will engage other stakeholders in the industry, other experts, to help us interpret this. Because like I said, you know, I find it too good to be true. But might be that is just my ignorance. We'll find others to come to the platform also, and then we take it from there. But thank you for your time.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So that is Matheus Stefanus. He's Secretary General of the Namibia Informal Traders and Shebeen Workers Union, saying employers are obliged to pay severance pay to whoever resigns or retires from their employment. Thank you for watching.